Last week's damning special counsel report highlighted, remember, Biden's, quote, poor memory. And according to a brand new NBC News report, it's worse than we thought. Listen to this. During his hastily planned damage control, remember the disastrous press conference at the last minute last Thursday, remember Biden attacked the special counsel, Robert Hur, for asking about his son Beau's death. Maybe you remember this.
I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of... Every Memorial Day, we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends and family and the people who loved him.
Add to that, Our Lady of what? Our Lady of what? How in the hell did he dare raise that, or dare he raise that? I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. Well, here's the news tonight. If that all wasn't bad enough, that press conference wasn't bad enough. He didn't remember Our Lady of, he didn't remember that General el-Sisi was the head of Egypt. And according to NBC News' report, Joe's memory failed him once again. Now, two sources familiar with the special counsel's interview of President Biden, likely the White House, that's my best guess, are now actually saying that it was Joe himself that brought up the topic of Beau Biden's death. It was never Robert Hur. Now, Joe brought the topic up after being asked about his workflow from 2016 to 2018. And according to the sources, Biden tried to recall what else happened in his life during this time. Remember, he didn't even remember, was I still vice president in 2009? And when he appeared confused about when his son passed away and everything else, allegedly getting the date, right, but the year wrong by more than a few years. What have I been saying? Joe, your president, he is not cognitively strong enough to be one of those nice Walmart greeters, the people that meet you at the door and say, is there anything we can do to help you? Yeah, I'd like the sporting goods department. He could not do that job because he'd never be able to recall where all the departments are. Meanwhile, did the floundering Biden administration suffer yet another intelligence failure? Listen to this news. House Intelligence Committee Chair Mike Turner is now urging Biden to declassify information related to a, quote, serious national security threat. And speaking from the White House today, NSA's, Jake Sullivan didn't exactly ease anybody's concern. Take a look at this.
In the simplest of terms, can you tell Americans that there's nothing they have to worry about right now in terms of what he describes as a national security threat?
Look, I think in a way that question is impossible to answer with a straight yes, right?
And now tonight, by the way, sources are telling Fox News that the threat is related to Russian nuclear capability in space. Let's see. Hypersonic missiles, check Russia, no check America. Now we have this case with space nukes. Are you kidding me? This new threat comes as your president is now warning House Republicans if they don't pass the ludicrous foreign aid bill, the one that, in fact, will be against Russia and Putin, that they're siding with Putin. That is not what they've said. They said secure our border first. His comments are being echoed by some on the right, including Utah Senator Mitt Romney. It is disgusting. Joe Biden said Trump was unpatriotic. No, he's not, nor are any other Republicans. This bill includes yet another $60 billion for Ukraine on top of the $75 billion we've already given them at a time we have, $34 trillion in debt, $2 trillion more last year, thanks to Biden. And earlier today, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries may have said the quiet part out loud, releasing a statement that literally reads, quote, the most urgent national security threat facing the American people right now is the possibility that Congress abandons Ukraine and allows Vladimir Putin's Russia to win. Now, of course, the Democrats, they are completely ignoring the greatest real national security threat that is facing our country right now, every day, and has been since Joe became president. That is the border crisis of his own making. He created it. Since Joe Biden took office, we now have nearly 10 million unvetted Joe Biden illegal immigrants that have crossed our southern border, many of which they're roaming free around the country. You know, they're coming from, let's see, Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Egypt, Russia, China, and elsewhere. Gee, do you think they're coming with their families for a better life? Or maybe some of them have nefarious intentions for the country. But as per usual, Biden and the left, they're putting the blame on the Republicans, claiming that they need Congress to fix Joe's problem. Excuse me, that is a flat-out lie. Joe Biden undid all of these successful Trump policies that made our border secure in the first place. He inherited the most secure border in modern history, but with the stroke of a pen, he got rid of them, and with the stroke of a pen, he can put them back in place. It's that easy. But that did not stop the White House from tweeting this kind of bizarre Valentine to House Speaker Mike Johnson. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, everybody. Roses are red, violets are blue. The border deal was crushed because of you. That is a real tweet sent out by the official White House government account. Okay, let's play along. In keeping with the spirit of the Valentine's Day, I can't send Joe flowers. They wouldn't accept them from me. I can't send him candy, and he's not my Valentine. Okay, how about roses are red, violets are blue. People from Iran, Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan, China, and Russia are all here because of you, Joe. Or how about this one? Roses are red, violets are blue. Any American killed by an illegal immigrant will be because of you, Joe, and the blood will be on your hands. And thankfully, in less than 9 months, you, the American people, have a chance to put an end to this national nightmare and defeat Joe Biden in November. But in order to do so, Republicans, you better learn some lessons from last night's defeat in the New York congressional special election, my former district when I once lived in New York. For starters, they were outspent dramatically. Some people have told me it could be as high as 8-1. That cannot happen. Republicans need to even the playing field financially. Secondly, more importantly, Republicans have to learn from the Democrats that early voting efforts were critical in this election. Yesterday and on Election Day, guess what? There was a major storm in District 3 in New York that hammered the entire area, crippling turnout, especially for older voters who are prone to voting on Election Day. That means conservatives, Republicans need to embrace early voting and voting by mail, and they better at least match, hopefully surpass, the legal ballot harvesting efforts of Democrats where it's allowed. The New York Times even admitted the snowstorm was a major boost to Swazi because Democrats tend to vote early and absentee. They had stockpiled the lead of thousands of votes before the snow ever started falling. Republicans, they need to find ways to counter, the early ground game. You cannot go into Election Day in a tight race down by thousands of votes. They need to embrace early voting, voting by mail. No, it's not the system I wanted. I said it 1,000 times. We're stuck with this system until Republicans win elections, then they can change it. With all that said, there is good news for Republicans. In New York, the New York Times focus group of 13 independent voters, in New York, 11 said they're voting for Trump over Biden. At least their eyes are open. And 2 brand new swing state polls were released by Fox tonight. One showing Trump leading Biden by 2 points. That's in Michigan. Another showing him with a 5-point lead in North Carolina, a must-win state for Donald Trump. Both states critical to his path to take back the White House in November. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.